Hey, this is BJ Shea. You know, I do a radio show out in Seattle, but you're here listening to The Edge on air.com. Oh, yeah, and Ryan Hoppe and SuperRICH. They're both wanted. Please arrest them.
Hey, this is the Hoppe and SuperRICH show. Time to get low. You like this beat or what?
Yeah, it's a good beat.
Do you remember the song at all?
No.
God, I'm weird because, like, I grew up with everyone who listened to rap, so when I meet people who didn't listen to rap, I'm like, is this real life? Like, you didn't grow up listening to Lil Jon?
Did you grow up listening to rap, Ryan Risky?
No, I actually don't like rap.
Boo, you guys aren't fun at all. All right,
See, maybe we're normal and you're the not normal one.
maybe.
Probably.
And now, before we get into everything going on with this article that's trying to claim that Hot Talk Radio and the word shock jock, I guess you want to describe it, that type of radio is going to go away, you know?
Yeah.
Trying to say that shock jock radio could go away. Well,
so
what does it say here? What's the headline? What does
it says,
say
Sirius XM boycott. Sorry, Anthony Cumia fans. Radio shock jocks are obsolete. So they're saying
they're not
obsolete.
sorry. They're not sorry.
Okay, now listen. Maybe it's obsolete on terrestrial radio in some cities, but every city that has an edgy talk show succeeds. I'll name off some just to prove my point. Rover's Morning Glory in Cleveland is number one. Dave and Chuck the Freak in Detroit, number one. Bob and Brian Milwaukee, number one. The Rizzuto Show in St. Louis, number one. Todd and Tyler, Omaha, number one.
And are all these technically considered shock jocks, I guess you could say?
Edgy shows, you know what I mean? The word shock jocks, the media created.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like the word shock jock can apply to these shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny Bonaducci and BJ Shea in Seattle, they're both highly rated. Kevin and Bean and The Woody Show and Frosty, Heidi and Frank in the second biggest market, Los Angeles. There's plenty of shows. Everything on 102.5 The Bone in Tampa Bay, pretty big market. Radio 104.1 in Orlando, it's big in Florida. There's Lex and Terry. It's not like they're heard in 40 cities. Bob and Tom, 100 stations. So to try and say, and I can just name off more, but I don't want to bore the listeners. I'm just trying to prove a point. To say that this type of radio has to go away, no, it just needs a rejuvenation, Ryan, because all these shows are like 45 years old or younger. Mm-hmm. The youngest show is like Covino and Rich, and I like them, but they're on like Indie on Sirius XM, and they're 37. Like, they need this young breed of outspoken shows that don't have bits. Like, yeah, we speak our mind, but we never do like bits where we have like goofy homeless people come in and play naked charades or something. Like, we just have fun. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, we just speak our mind.
I hope we don't have that happen.
Go by the Lombard exit on the highway.
Yeah.
There's always random homeless people coming to my car for money. Sorry, I'm broke. I go to school, I'm broke. I don't know.
I'm just like you, hobo.
I just live with my mom. Sorry. So
I think everyone here is like that, though.
Yeah, pretty much. So here's what it says. It says, fans of Anthony Cumia have been predictably up in arms since late Thursday when Sirius XM, they fired the longtime Opie and Anthony co-host over a series of racially charged tweets. The radio shock jock claims he was attacked on the street by a black woman.
He was! What do you mean by claimed? There's witnesses there that said he was beat up.
Well, and he has the photos to prove it, doesn't he?
Yeah, and not just that. Not just that. I want you guys to go to Millennium Park, or maybe you just drive up 18 hours and go to Times Square in New York. Take pictures of people, get beat up, and see how you feel. I'm not saying you're going to go to the extreme of Anthony Cumia and begin tweeting really edgy things on Twitter, but I'm sure you'll tweet about it. You're not going to be happy that you got beat up.
Have they identified the person that beat him up?
I think that pic's kind of blurry. If you look at it, it doesn't look completely clear to one I showed you.
Oh, well, I'm sure she'll come out and have some statements over it.
God, how happy must she feel? She's like, I got a shock jock fight.
How funny would it be if she actually liked that show? She'd probably feel like... You know, imagine if you're like if it was a show that you liked or a lot of people you know like that show and they found out you're the reason that it's getting canceled or that one of the guys got fired.
Oh man, and the funniest part is the Opie and Anthony fan base. Now, I love the show. I'm a huge fan, but I'm not a pest. Pests, whenever they're mad at somebody, they will call the radio show and rip them. They will comment on the Facebook post and just post horrible pictures.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying when people do that.
Oh, their fan base is
for
huge.
Any radio show. It's annoying. We always have people calling out people and posting stuff.
And the best part about it is, like, they've had to shut down radio channel Facebook pages because the fans are so relentless. So imagine if they got the Twitter account of that girl. Oh my goodness, her timeline would be covered with hate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that I wonder if they'll ever release it. Because if they do,
you gotta imagine someone that saw that picture has to know who that is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, people will find, like, it doesn't really matter who you are. Someone will find out. Someone will release it to the media. It's just like when there was the Boston Marathon bombings last year. They released, I mean, not the clearest pictures from the security cameras. They were just kind of like blurred faces.
Yeah.
Except
but they figured out who it was.
Yeah, then they were relying on the people to call in and say who they are. And what happened? People called in. They knew it. It's just like with Steve Bartman. Even though his face is kind of clear, people call. Then it releases phone number, his name, and everything. It's going to be like this. People that like Opie and Anthony, someone is going to find out who that is, and then she's going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine, because these fans, they're not like Cub fans where some Cub fans are classy. Like, the Opie and Anthony fans are as edgy as them. And just imagine, I'm going to leave the girl alone.
Think about how many death threats she's going to get soon.
And just how many, like, C-bombs on Twitter if they found her. She's going to get it horribly. I just don't even want to think about that because I represent the classy part of the fan base. I'm just here trying to make money in radio because of them. I'm not like a truck driver who doesn't care. Because, like, there's people who are tweeting awful things on Twitter about the girl, and I'm just retweeting support for Anthony. Like, I'm not going to go there.
Well, and that's all you need to do.
I have a public profile to protect.
Yeah. So SiriusXM called his rant where he went on social media and tweeted out a bunch of things called his profanity-laced Twitter rant abhorrent to SiriusXM.
Oh, really? Is it really? Even though you've had him around for 10 years and everything he said in the Twitter rant, literally he has said on the air when he recaps the violence that goes on in Chicago, are you really that offended when he's made you millions and you're one of the highest listened to shows on SiriusXM radio? Are you really that offended? Are you really?
Think about how Sirius is going to feel when they lose the millions of dollars.
Like, they might not recover because Howard's like 60 years old. He's had his 60th birthday bash in January. Like, he's older. Like, I'm not saying he's going to quit anytime soon, but, like, they're like...
You can only get so many more years out of him.
Yeah, and even now, when he's on the show, he's not really there. He's not the same edge he had 20 years ago. Like, I've tried listening to it. I like the show, but I think it's because I didn't grow up with Howard. I just can't get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've never really listened to it, so I
think your mom would be offended. I don't think your family would appreciate the Howard Stern show or Opie and Anthony.
Probably not.
This could go on
I mean, a lot of people like him, but there's a lot more people who don't like him.
And there's just this bad rap because you're a shock. Enough of that word, please.
Yeah, so there's been, some support for Anthony Cumia. Obviously, we told you about a little bit of that. But on a newly created Facebook page dedicated to the Sirius boycott, a few fans have posted screenshots of their cancellation confirmations. Others have changed their Facebook and Twitter profiles to an image of Cumia, one of them being Ryan Hoppe, sitting right to my left.
Oh, that's who that guy was? Yeah. I was wondering. I'm like, what is this? Who is that guy? That's not Hoppe.
When did Hoppe grow out his hair? Because what does it look like, Ryan? Explain.
It's an image of Cumia looking like Argentine Marxist revolutionary Che Guevara.
I had no idea what it was. I thought maybe it was from like Full Metal Jacket or something.
I remember the name from like history class, but yeah.
I didn't pay attention. I slept and thought about what I want to do in radio. Literally, I didn't pay attention in class. I would either listen to the radio like Opie and Anthony in class, or I would sleep. I never
You
learned...
listened to it in class?
Yeah.
Wow.
In this class?
No, I mean...
Well, especially in this class.
I mean, I do now, but I mean, back in high school when we were in like the computer lab, I'd shoot off Sirius XM radio. I didn't do anything in class.
So anyway,
I was lazy.
So it's an impassioned show of celerity, but is it likely to get Cumia's bosses at SiriusXM to change their minds? Don't count on it.
Maybe the millions of dollars that they're going to lose might make them change their minds.
Well, it's always about the money, and they just don't seem to realize that right now.
Not just that, but they just said it won't bring him back. He doesn't expect to come back. He's going to do a podcast. He said he's fine with leaving. He got sick of the corporate world. So these people, what's the name of the website? They wrote this.
This is ibtimes.com.
They don't get the point.
Which is the International Business Times.
All these protests, all these signatures on the petition, all these things they had isn't for him to come back. It's to support him and prove a point that 40,000 people want him to come back, and they will do a podcast. So for them to have that type of lazy journalism saying, oh, don't expect him to come back, we don't. They just changed the name to SiriusXM Talk XL. Yuck.
Opie should be offended by that. If I was Opie, I'd be furious about that.
Oh, yeah, I would too.
I think it proves that he doesn't want his name on it and he just is ready to leave. Because imagine if he had the Opie channel. People would be ripping him. Oh, my God, you don't support Anthony. You're a backstabber.
It's not like
he's just doing what's best for him, you know.
And at the end of
every
the day,
man for himself.
Yeah, he makes money. He makes like $4 million a year. He has a family to feed. Yeah, $4 million is a lot, but like you have to get the money to make the $4 million. You know what I mean? You can't just cancel the checks.
So let's see. Going on to what it says here. In the age of social media, yelling and screaming boycott may have emerged as the default response to decisions we disagree with, but a boycott is only as effective as its potential effect on a company's bottom line. That's a very confusing sentence.
They're trying to sound intelligent.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounded like it was, but it really wasn't. So it's just headline noise, said Amy Yong, an analyst for Macquarie Capital. In terms of earnings and multiples for stock, very, very minimal impact. So they're saying that this really doesn't have anything. But, of course, if Anthony Cumia doesn't want to come back to XM, which it sounds like...
He's not coming back.
Which it sounds like he doesn't really want to come back or has the desire to come back. He wants to go off and do his own things by doing podcasts.
And what I love is he's not saying he's sorry. That's what I love. I don't agree with what he said. I don't want people thinking I think what he said was right. It's awful. But at the same time, if he's not sorry, don't apologize.
Right. Yeah. There's no point to apologize. It's just to appease the people who want you to apologize.
And here's what I don't get. All these special interest groups, all these people, all these activists who want these shock jocks to apologize, or the guy from I think it's like the Travel Channel, Adam Richman, Man vs. Food. He said some things on Instagram last week and he got fired because he didn't say he was sorry, or he did it after he was fired. Why say you're sorry if you're not sorry? I don't get these activist groups who want you to say you're sorry if you're not.
Yeah.
Like, it's like when you get beat up on the playground and you ask the kid and you get beat up, so then you tell on him to the principal. And then the principal makes Johnny, who beat you up, say, I'm sorry I beat you up and I kicked you in the crotch. This actually happened to me. And you don't really believe the apology, because if you were sorry, you never would have done it in the first place. So, like, I'd rather not have you say you're sorry and we just go about our ways. Why can't activists do that? He's on a channel you have to pay for.
Because everybody likes each other and everybody has to get along, right?
Oh, we have to all say we're sorry. Gosh, America's becoming as soft as a pillow I sleep on at night. America's as soft as my cat's fur. Get out of here. Stop it. You agree with me?
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. I mean, you shouldn't apologize for things that you don't want to apologize for.
Ryan, you like to watch Cubs games. I find it offensive because you're wasting your life away. Apologize to me right now. Risky and Super Rich. Say you're sorry because I think you're wrong for wasting your life away watching the bad Cubs.
Absolutely not.
Good. Makes sense.
I will not apologize.
I'm not sorry for that.
It's entertainment.
Call the show. What do you think of all this ranting I've been doing on my radio influence, Anthony Cumia? 630-785-2510. That's 630-785-2510. What else does it say? Because it gets better.
There's a couple more things here. Okay, so the bottom line is that Sirius has all the leverage here. Opie and Anthony is a high-profile radio show, but it's not what Sirius regards as anchor content.
What do you mean? They're on the pamphlet.
Let me finish this first. That is key programming like sports broadcast and top 40 music offerings. Shock jock shows held from the terrestrial era when listeners were trapped in their cars with whatever local programming was available are decidedly lower on the totem pole in the age of iPods and personalized playlists, which...
Then what do you mean by that?
I don't think Ryan agrees with that.
What are you talking about? Since when do people pay $15 a month to hear the same 4 top 40 songs when they can get it on their little fancy iPhone and either listen to it when you download the song?
Or on just local radio, too. It doesn't have to be XM. I mean, you can just listen to music on local radio.
You can hear the same 4 songs you hear on local radio and not pay $15 a month for
Nobody pays for top 40 music.
What does that even mean?
I mean, I don't even know anybody that pays for top 40 music. Sports, maybe, but not top 40.
Yeah, some of their music channels are really good. I like it. Like Pop 2K, they play all the songs we grew up with. But listen, Pandora has a 2000s playlist I can have.
Mm-hmm.
The one
or
I
you
use,
can just get the song on your iPod. Or
Accu Radio does
it.
it. There's apps that do it. Like Ryan said, you can download it. So I don't agree with that.
Right.
And who really pays to listen to sports on there? Does anybody go, I want to listen to the Jaguars, Patriots?
I mean, unless you move away from your sports city. And I am a Chicago sports fan, but if I was to move to, Washington State to Seattle, I mean, I might pay for Chicago sports radio just so I can get,
But
more,
there's ways to get
more
it
inside
online for
scoop.
free.
But yeah, you can always listen, for 670, you can just go to 670thescore.com and listen live, or you can listen live on TuneIn.
But I want to listen to it while I'm driving to Dominic's or whatever grocery stores out in Seattle. Shut up.
Right.
Get out of here.
There's a lot better ways to go about it than having to pay. So I'm not even sure Sirius XM subscribers. I mean, I'm not sure how many there are that actually subscribe to Top 40 and sports.
None.
Because
Or
I
not
feel
none,
like if you're gonna want bang for your buck
Yeah. Oh, geez.
somebody like Opie and Anthony would give you that.
Or Howard.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's not too much to this article. Obviously, this article is somewhat against Anthony Cumia.
Oh, really? I haven't seen any support of Anthony there.
One exception is Howard Stern, whose brand recognition helped save Sirius from the brink of bankruptcy before it merged with XM. But Stern is the last of a dying breed, and even he doesn't have the clout he once did.
All right, what dying breed are we talking about? You have all the shows in all the cities I named off, and hey, it's not like the biggest podcast right now on iTunes is the Adam Carolla Show. It's the Billboard Monday Morning Podcast. It's Jim Florentine. It's Nick DiPaolo. It's all these comedians that are edgy. All the shows that are edgy do the best. My mom listens to Brandmeier in the morning. All these shows excel. This article is trying to claim that it's going away. Yeah, there might not be young talent right now, but it's not going to go away. I'm going to keep it alive. That's my goal. So to try and act like it's disintegrating just because they're fired, no. If it's really disintegrating, there would be no petitions for Anthony. There'd be no support on Twitter.
Right.
If it's really disintegrating when they end up doing their podcast, no one's going to listen. Oh, wait, that's right. They will listen.
Yeah,
Stop it.
yeah, I think they'll listen. So here's what you were talking about with the 5%. Earlier this year, Macquarie, which was somebody that we talked about earlier, released a survey showing that only 5% of Sirius XM subscribers would consider canceling the service if Stern left the air.
I don't believe that. I don't believe it at all.
So what bargaining power could Opie and Anthony hope to wield?
I don't believe that. So you're saying 95% of people who pay just for Howard wouldn't keep it? I don't believe that at all. Howard's the biggest draw there.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely the biggest draw.
When you go to listen online, it has categories: entertainment talk, music, sports, and then it says Howard. It has these 2 channels. You don't think they did that because he's a big draw? What are you talking about?
Whatever happens, its fortunes won't rise or fall on the strength of Opie and Anthony. Reached by phone on Monday, Sirius XM spokesman Patrick Riley wouldn't comment on the backlash over Cumia's firing, but he didn't seem very concerned about it either. I don't have any updates on what's going on, he said. And later, Cumia's longtime co-host Greg Opie Hughes tweeted out that he will be back on the radio on Monday to start to figure this out.
Listen. Just because he says I don't have a comment right now doesn't mean he's not concerned. How do you get from the words, I cannot speak on this right now? Or what's the quote? What does it say?
He says, I don't have any updates on what's going on.
How is that not showing that you're concerned? You don't know what to say. You're going to lose $4 million from the people who are canceling. But yeah, you're not concerned about that. Your stock is down for once. Yeah, but you're not concerned. This article is just trying to seem like there's nothing good with Anthony because people who don't listen would assume from an article that they have no support, that they're done. This is the liberal media literally throwing people under the bus. This is CNN, MSNBC, the international business, whatever that article was, who cares?
Yeah,
all pretending that when he leaves, no one's going to miss him, even though people are complaining about it 4 days later on Twitter, almost a week later. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Ryan, no one cares about the second most listened to show on Sirius XM. No one cares about a show that's been around for 20 years. Now, I said in the beginning of the rant an hour ago, I didn't want to come off like a homer or a huge fanboy, but I am, because they're the reason I'm paying to go to the school right now. They're the reason I want to go to talk radio. They're the reason that I'm doing the Hoppe and SuperRICH show right now. And I want to go into that brand of FM talk radio. And the fact that it could go away because you don't like what someone says, stop it. It's just words at the end of the day. America's so soft.
Coming up, the Hoppe and SuperRICH.
We will have SuperRICH news and more. Any a bit of a preview?
There was a Southeast Missouri man who shot his wife because he was tired of her.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah. I'm done with you. Boom,
boom.
boom.
Yeah, and I have something to talk about last night. I want to get your advice. I went for a walk. Oh, boy, dude, it was really weird. I'll get to that. It reminded me of what you just said.
There was also a twerking lap dance that led to a suspension for a middle school teacher.
Ugh, it's so young. Ugh, it's horrible.
And an alleged high-priced prostitute is charged in Google executive's death.
I saw that.
So that'll
she
be
didn't look
interesting.
sorry at all. I was at the gym on a treadmill and I was watching that. She looks more sorry that she got caught and that the Google exec died than the fact that she caused the death. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we'll have all those stories coming up next after the break. It's the Hoppe and Super Rich Show.